The air was tense even before Will Smith stepped onto the set of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Following his return to public life after the Oscars incident, this appearance was expected to be a turning point. Colbert, known for blending wit with hard-hitting questions, welcomed Smith warmly, but the mood shifted quickly once the conversation turned toward accountability, past controversies, and public trust. What was meant to be a light-hearted promo segment turned into a fiery exchange between two strong personalities with two very different approaches to truth and image. Cameras kept rolling, but it was clear the producers were on edge. Something was brewing. Colbert's tone shifted noticeably when he asked Smith about the broader consequences of his actions. "Do you think people are ready to forgive you?" he asked, "or are you just hoping they forget?" Smith, visibly uncomfortable, responded by saying he had taken responsibility, worked on himself, and was focused on healing. But Colbert pressed on, citing public backlash, cancelled deals, and the still divided public sentiment. Smith bristled. "I'm not here to relitigate a moment everyone's already judged me for," he said firmly. The crowd, unsure whether to applaud or recoil, sat in stunned silence. What happened next shocked even long-time viewers of Colbert's show. The host, rather than pivoting to a lighter topic, leaned in harder. "You've played heroes your whole career, Will. But in that moment, who were you really?" Smith's demeanor darkened. He leaned forward, eyes locked with Colbert's. "That's a question you ask someone when you're trying to provoke, not understand," Smith said. "I came here to speak, not to be put on trial." The tension exploded on screen. The show's energy had gone from awkward to combustible in seconds. Smith's voice rose slightly, his tone firm but clearly emotional. "You know me for decades," he said to Colbert. "You know that wasn't me. But if you want to turn this into a headline, I won't be part of it." Colbert, unfazed, responded coolly, "I'm giving you the platform to tell your story. But if the truth is uncomfortable, maybe it's worth sitting with." The exchange felt less like an interview and more like a philosophical standoff. Viewers could feel the room grow colder by the second. Then came the breaking point. Colbert, perhaps realizing things had gone too far, tried to steer the conversation back to Smith's new movie. But Smith wasn't having it. "You don't get to drill into my past for 10 minutes and then ask me to pitch a film like none of that happened," he said. He took off his mic and stood up. Colbert, momentarily stunned, tried to salvage the moment with humor. "Well, I guess that's a wrap," he said with a forced chuckle, but it was too late. Smith had already started walking off the set. Audience members gasped, unsure whether what they were seeing was scripted or real. Cameras kept rolling for a few seconds longer before cutting to an abrupt commercial break. When the show returned, Colbert sat alone at his desk, clearly rattled, but trying to keep the show on track. "Well, that was unexpected," he said. "Let's move on." But social media had already exploded. Hashtags like #WillWalksOut and #Colbert Confrontation began trending within minutes. Backstage reports later confirmed the exchange was entirely unplanned. Sources said Colbert felt he had a responsibility to ask tough questions, while Smith had been assured the interview would focus on his upcoming projects. The disconnect in expectations led to the heated moment millions witnessed live. Some viewers praised Colbert for journalistic integrity. Others slammed him for ambushing a guest, trying to rebuild his image. Smith, meanwhile, released a brief statement saying, "Sometimes you have to walk away from a space that doesn't respect your growth." The entertainment world weighed in quickly. Fellow celebrities took sides, some defending Smith's right to protect his peace, others saying he missed an opportunity to show real growth under pressure. Commentators debated whether Colbert had crossed a line or simply done his job, but one thing was clear: the interview had become the story. Major news outlets ran headlines the next morning about the confrontation, while video clips racked up millions of views. In the days that followed, both camps tried to move on. Colbert opened the next episode with a tongue-in-cheek walk-off policy joke, while Smith stayed off social media. But the moment had already left its mark. For Colbert, it was a rare instance of losing control on his own show. For Smith, it was another chapter in a public journey filled with highs, lows, and moments that continue to polarize. But if either hoped the moment would fade quietly, the internet had other plans. As the dust settled, the confrontation became more than a viral clip. It sparked a national conversation about redemption, pressure, and authenticity in the public eye. Whether you saw Smith's exit as justified or dramatic, or Colbert's questioning as brave or brash, one thing was undeniable. It was television at its rawest. And for both men, the scars and the spotlight remain. The legacy of that fiery night lives on in memes, headlines, and the minds of those who watched a star refused to stay silent under pressure.